Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Monday, April 5th, 2022. Today I'm going to recap last night's national championship game between Kansas and North Carolina. NHL, Major League Baseball Spring Training, NBA resumes tonight with a lot of games. I'll do my MLB closer rankings. We'll recap last night's episode of American Idol, news and notes, and best bet. We'll start with the national championship game. It was a all-time classic game with the Kansas Jayhawks coming out on top by a score of 72-69 over the North Carolina Tar Heels, as the Jayhawks are your 2022 NCAA Men's National Championships. Men's National Champions, I should say. So this is Bill Self's second title. His first one in 14 years, since 2008 when they beat Memphis in that classic overtime game. And they were really the best team this season in college basketball. But they probably didn't really show it at times throughout the season. They were in a loaded Big 12. Nobody talked about them. Everyone looked at them as like the perennial chokers, like Gonzaga is, and yada yada. They flew very under the radar as a one seed, and they snuck up on everybody and won the title. David McCormick led them in scoring this game at 15 points, and Armando Bacot led Carolina with 15 and 15 and 2. And Bacot actually twisted his ankle at the end of the game. I don't know if that determined the result of this game, but it certainly had an impact in the last 90 seconds of the game, as he really was a valuable player for them in this run. And Kansas was down 15 in the first half, and they rallied back the entire second half. They outscored Carolina 47-29 in the second half. But it's pretty much a tale of two games in what was a all-timer. And I saw a staggering stat that each team led in this game for 18 minutes and 32 seconds, which really is a big factor of how close this game was. All right, and in terms of next year, I think Kansas is going to be Kansas. They'll always be Kansas, and they reload every year if they lose people. And Carolina should be good in the ACC. I mean, Duke's going to be better. Or right there. Virginia's going to bounce back. Louisville's, you would think, would bounce back, even though they have Kenny Payne. That could be a while. So Carolina might have a tougher road getting back than Kansas. But Carolina has a lot to be proud of in year one of Hubert Davis making it this far. And they got hot at the right time. They're a team that underachieved in the regular season. They're the best lower seed to make the title game since that Kentucky team. I mean, that UConn team won, but they weren't that great. They had Shabazz Napier. That's really it. And Kevin Ollie, who wasn't all that great of a coach. And that UConn team was, I believe, a 7 seed. Yup. And they had to go to overtime against St. Joe's to make the third round, or the then third round, now second round. So I don't think that team was very good. That Kentucky team in 2014 underachieved badly in the regular season. They made the title game. And that team is better than this year's Carolina team, for sure. But this year's Carolina, if they lived up to expectations in the regular season, that's probably like a 4 seed. So it was an underseeded 8 seed that made the final. And it was a really, really fun tournament, obviously. One shiny moment, I think, that did a lot of St. Peter's do, as deservingly so. And a lot of Kansas and Carolina. You saw a lot of Duke and Coach K in there as well. So it was a good game, a good one shiny moment, and congrats to Kansas. And looking forward to the next college season, which is going to be in another 7 months or so. All right, now we'll do NHL. We'll recap last night's games and look ahead to what should be a busy window for tonight. Bruins over the Blue Jackets 3-2 in overtime on a game winner by... Let's see here. Who? Jake DeBrusk. Maple Leafs over the Lightning 6-2. Blues over the Coyotes 5-1. And the Flames over the Kings 3-2. Tonight's slate's not as really loaded as I thought. 7 o'clock, you have the Hurricanes and the Sabres. Yikes. Carolina is minus 275. Buffalo's plus 220. Over under 6.5. Overs even money. Unders minus 122. And Carolina minus 1.5. And Buffalo plus 1.5 is minus 110 each way. I'm going to go over 6.5. I think that the value lies there. Carolina's going to put up a lot of goals. Tabs. Ottawa minus 118. Montreal minus 102. Over under 6. Overs minus 122. Unders even money. Ottawa minus 1.5 is plus 220. Montreal plus 1.5 is minus 275. Kind of like Montreal at home. Only because I think that Ottawa isn't as good or isn't that much better than Montreal, you know? And plus they're on the road. Maple Leafs, Panthers. Panthers minus 164. Toronto plus 136. Over under 7, minus 110 each way. Toronto minus or plus 1.5 is minus 166. Florida minus 1.5 is plus 138. I'm going to go with the Maple Leafs, plus 136. Panthers clutch the playoffs spot. Maple Leafs still have to do so I'm going to go Maple Leafs with this one. Rangers, Devils. Rangers minus 160. Devils plus 132. Over under 6. Overs minus 115. Unders minus 105. Rangers minus 1.5 is plus 158. Devils plus 1.5 is minus 192. Last time Rangers were there, Devils put up a 5 spot in the second period. That's not happening again. I'm going to go Rangers regulation, even money. They need this game bad. Blue Jackets, Flyers. Philly minus 134. Blue Jackets plus 112. Over under 6.5. Overs even money. Unders minus 122. Columbus plus 1.5 is minus 225. Philly minus 1.5 is plus 184. I'm going Columbus plus 112. They should win that game. Avs Penguins, which is probably the best game tonight. Pens minus 115. Avalanche minus 104. Over under 6.5. Minus 110 each way. Colorado plus 1.5 is minus 275. Pittsburgh minus 1.5 is plus 220. I'm going to go with the Penguins. They need this game. They're home fighting with the Rangers for the home ice in this first round, assuming that they and the Rangers will hook up. So give me Pittsburgh minus 114. 7:30 Red Wings Bruins from Detroit. Boston minus 210. Detroit plus 172. Over under 6.5. Overs even money. Unders minus 122. Boston minus 1.5 is plus 126. Detroit plus 1.5 is minus 152. I'm going to go over even money. Detroit's been scoring a little more than expected. 8 o'clock, Wild Predators. Wild minus 120. Preds even money. Over under 6.5. Overs even money. Unders minus 122. Wild minus 1.5 is plus 220. Nashville plus 1.5 is minus 275. I'm going to go with the Predators at home. They badly need this game. They're on the verge of not making the playoffs. Low key. They're like literally tied with Vegas or Dallas for the first wild card spot or for the 2 wild card spots. Tied with Vegas. Dallas is right up their neck. Winnipeg, Vancouver, I'd say are out of it. But they have Vancouver has 12 left. Dallas has 14 left. Winnipeg has 12 left. So you never know with this kind of stuff. But Dallas, I think, is the only real threat. But still, Nashville needs this game. Even money. 8:30 Islanders Stars. Stars minus 134. Islanders plus 112 over under 5.5. Overs plus 104. Unders minus 128. Isles plus 1.5 is minus 260. Dallas minus 1.5 is plus 210. I'm going over 5.5 plus 104. And last but not least, 10:30 Oilers Sharks. Oilers minus 192. Sharks plus 155. Over under 6.5. Overs minus 114. Unders minus 106. Oilers minus 1.5 is plus 130. Sharks plus 1.5 is minus 156. I'm going to go with the over in that game. Now we'll move on to Major League Baseball spring training. We'll go over the results from today, and today's the last day of spring training, so we'll look at the matchups for today. Well, there's actually 2 on Wednesday, believe it or not. Today's the last full slate. Mets and Astros 3-3 tie. Pirates over the Orioles 9-3. Tigers over the Blue Jays 4-2. Twins over the Red Sox 2-0. Yankees over the Phillies 5-2. Cardinals over the Nationals 4-3. Braves over the Rays 8-2. Cubs over the White Sox 15-9. Reds over the Royals 10-6. Giants over the A's 5-3. Padres over the Rangers 11-5. Mariners over the Diamondbacks 6-3. Angels over the Dodgers 10-4. D-backs over the Guardians 3-1. Brewers over the Rockies 8-7. Today's game is 11 o'clock Cardinals Marlins, 12 o'clock Pirates Phillies, Mets Nats, 1 o'clock Braves Nats, Twins Red Sox Tigers Yankees, Orioles Blue Jays, 3 o'clock Mariners Reds, Cubs Rangers, Royals Brewers, White Sox Padres, 3:30 Guardians Diamondbacks, 4 o'clock A's Giants, Guardians Rockies, so the Guardians have a split squad, and 9 o'clock the Angels and the Tigers. All right, now move on to the NBA. We'll look ahead to tonight's games. There's nothing to recap. So first up, 7 o'clock, you have the 76ers and the Pacers. My projections, Sixers by 10 a quarter, total 234 and 7/20. And it is 11.5 and 234. Very close. But I'm going slight Indiana. Cavs Magic. My projection is Cleveland by 9, total 218 and 7/10. Jared Allen might be back tonight. And it is 8 and 218. Again, very close. Slightly into Cleveland. 7:30 Rockets Nets. My projection is Brooklyn by 17 a quarter, total 246 and 3/10. And 17 and 244 and a half. Over Slight over. Hornets Heat. My projection is Heat by 8 and a quarter, total 230 and 7/20, and it is 5.5 and 225 and a half. Over. Hawks Raptors. My projection is Raptors by 6, total 228 and 7/20, and it's 3.5 and 226. I'm going to lay the 3.5 of the Raptors. 8 o'clock, ESPN Bucks Bulls. My projection is a pick and 240 and a half, and it is Milwaukee by 5, total 233. Over. I know Lonzo's out, but Giannis is still on the court. I think it's will be a higher scoring game than people think. Wizards Timberwolves. My projection is Timberwolves by 13 and a quarter, total 247 and a half. And it's 12.5 and 237. Over. Easy. Blazers Thunder. My projection is Thunder by 3, total 224 and 13/20. And it's 3.5 and 221 and a half. Over. Spurs Nuggets at 9 o'clock. My projection is Denver by 14 and 3/4, so 237 and a half. And it's 8.5 and 234. I'm going to lay the 8.5 with Denver. No Devontae Murray here. So, no Murray for San Antonio. So, I'm laying it with Denver. Next up is the Grizzlies and the Jazz. DeJounte Murray. I knew I was pronouncing his name wrong. I was like, that's not right. That's what we played for Brady. So Grizzlies, Jazz. I predict Utah 4.5 total, 227 and a 20th, and it is 5 and 224. Over. 10 o'clock, the Pelicans and the Kings. My projection is the Pelicans by 3/4, total 224 and 3/20. And it's 7.5 and 225.5. I'm gonna take Sacramento getting the points, but I have pause because of the status of De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis. So let's see here. Sabonis out. That wasn't the case yesterday when I did this. And Fox out. So it's 10 points in favor for New Orleans. So now this goes to 10 and 3/4, total 224 and 3/20. I'm now going to take the Pelicans minus 7.5. Last but not least, 10:30 NBA TV, the Lakers and the Suns. My projection is Suns by a whopping 18, total 227 and 1/20. Doing a quick check for Davis questionable and LeBron questionable. And I still have 18 and 227 and a 20th, and it is 12 and 232.5. I'm going to lay to 12. It'll probably go up if one of those guys miss this game. So I really like the minus 18 for Phoenix. Or minus 12, my bad, for the Suns. All right, now I'm going to do my Major League Baseball closer rankings. This was an easy list to put together. Tonight we're going to do the big show. All-in predictions. And then tomorrow we're going to do the top 100 players, and then Thursday's opening day. It's amazing how fast that this came. All right, 30, Robert Suarez, Padres. 29, Tanner Rainey, Nationals. 28, Paul Fry, Orioles. 27, Gregory Soto, Tigers. 26, Luis Cessa, Reds. 25, Dylan Floro, Marlins. 24, Matt Barnes, Red Sox. 23, Scott Barlow, Royals. 22, Joe Barlow, Rangers. 21, David Bednar, Pirates. 20, Lou Trevino, Athletics. 19, Alex Colon, Rockies. 18, David Robertson, Cubs. 17, Camilo Duvall, Giants. 16, Giovanni Gallegos, Cardinals. 15, Ken Giles, Mariners. 14, Edwin Diaz, Mets. 13, Corey Knebel, Phillies. 12, Taylor Rogers, Twins. 11, Mark Melanson, Diamondbacks. 10, Ryan Presley, Astros. 9, Jordan Romano, Blue Jays. 8, Andrew Kitteridge, Rays. 7, Raciel Iglesias, Angels. 6, Kenley Jansen, Braves. 5, Craig Kimbrell, Dodgers. 4, Liam Hendricks, White Sox. 3, Emmanuel Clace, Guardians. 2, Aroldis Chapman, Yankees. And number 1, Josh Hader, Milwaukee Brewers. Hader's been the best reliever in baseball for at least 5 years now. And he just continues to dominate. Chapman's been very up and down, but I do think he'll bounce back, and the numbers suggest he'll bounce back as well. And I think he'll be a little bit better with Gary Sanchez not catching him. Clace was amazing last year. I think he'll be better going forward. Hendricks, I think, will be more comfortable with Craig Kimbrell not there anymore. And I do think Kimbrell will be more comfortable without being in the 8th inning. Kenley Jansen can have a change of scenery. I Iglesias. Wasn't superhuman for the Angels, but he's still a solid closer. Kittredge and Romano, two, I think, under the radar AL East closers per two teams, I think, can win their divisions. And Presley, I think, is a really solid closer for Houston. And even the guys in the teams on this list, I think, are solid. But some guys like Giles and Diaz have had so many chokes throughout their careers. So that's why I didn't put them in my top 10 closers. And there are a couple mistakes I made in the position player rankings I want to acknowledge. I forgot about Ronald Acuna Jr. because he was coming off the injury. I placed him at number 2 in my right field rankings. Beneath Juan Soto and above Mookie Betts. And then I forgot about Stephen Piscotty. And I placed him at number 15, who's a really like under the radar all of a sudden. And then Christian Pache, I moved to the left field rankings. And I placed him at 24 between Akil Baddoo and Trevor Larange. And I had Seth Brown on the list. And then Ramon Laureano, I moved to the center field rankings. And I placed him between Cedric Mullins and Kevin Kiermaier at the 18 spot. So a few little baby mistakes that I made on this list. And then the other one was second base. Whit Merrifield is actually going to be starting in the outfield, not at second base. I had him number 2 on the second base rankings, and now Nicky Lopez is going to be starting, and he's, to me, number 30 of second baseman. So a few changes to the position player rankings that I had to make here. Alrighty, now I'm going to recap yesterday's episode of American Idol. It was the showstopper round, and then they chose the top 24. So they don't do the one where they break them up into 3 groups in the room, and 2 groups go through and 1 group goes home. They don't do that anymore. And they just did the top 24 and called the contestants by name, and they showed their showstopper performance, and then they said whether they were going through or not. First up was Leah Marlene. She performed She's a Self-Made Man by Larkin Poe. She made it to the top 24. Jake Copeland did Jar of Hearts by Christina Perri. He made it through. Nicolina Bazzo performed Rolling in the Deep by Adele. Made it through. Emerson Flora performed Honey by Kuka. Made it through. Riley Madison performed Blue by Leanne Rimes. She did not make it through. Katria Love, Sweet Thing by Rufus and Chaka Khan. Made it through. Fritz Hager did an original. He made it through. Jacob Moran performed Is That Alright by Lady Gaga. He went through. They did not show Allegra Miles' performance, but she made it through. Cameron Whitcomb performed It Ain't Me Babe by Bob Dylan. He made it through. Ava Maybe performed Falling by Harry Styles. And then her and Yoli Mayer, they had it together. And they had a sing-off. And the one of them went through and the other did not. Yoli's showstopper performance was to Human by Rumgold. Sing-off songs, Ava performed Roxanne by The Police, and Yoli performed Chicken Song by Rodney Carrington. Ava made it through, Yoli did not. Neva and Cameron are very close, so that was cool that they both made it through. 3 people did not make it through: Douglas Mills Jr., Sam Moss, and Benny Maxwell. Sir Blake, they showed his performance on Honesty by Pink Sweats. He made it through. Ellie Rowe and Mike Parker both made it through, but did not show their performances. Tristan Grissett performed Come Together by the Beatles. He made it through. Christian Gordino performed Sex on Fire by Kings of Leon. He made it through. Dontrell Briggs performed Hello by Lionel Richie. He did not go through. Noah Thompson performed Stay by Rihanna. He made it through. Candace Baker performed The Story by Brandy Carlisle. She made it through. Kelsey Dolan performed Before You Go by Louis Capaldi. Did not go through. I wasn't a big fan of Kelsey Dolan. I'm glad that she didn't make it through. Because if she made it through over somebody that deserved it, that would have been disappointing. Hunter Girl performed Girl Going Nowhere by Ashley McBride. She made it through. Sage performed I Hate This by Tanella Arts. Made it through. Danielle performed Evergreen by Yeba. She made it through. Jordan Chase performed Cold by Chris Stapleton. He did not go through. Kennedy Anderson performed Talking to the Moon by Bruno Mars. She made it through. Scarlett bounced back from a poor duet and performed You Ought to Know by Alanis Morissette. She was phenomenal. She made it through. Lady K performed I'd Rather Go Blind by Etta James. She made it through. And then last was Dakota Hayden and Dan Marshall. They went in together. Dakota performed Pretty Hard by Parker McCollum. Dan performed Hardworking Man by Brooks and Dunn. They had a sing-off. Dakota performed Heaven by Kane Brown, and Dan performed What Are You Listening To by Chris Stapleton. Dan made it through. Dakota went home. So, your top 24. Dan, Lady K, Scarlett, Kennedy, Danielle, Sage, Hunter Girl, Candace, Noah, Christian, Tristan, Mike, Ellie, Sir Blake, Ava, Cameron, Allegra, Jacob, Fritz, Katria, Emerson, Nicolina, Jay, and Leah. So I think that's a solid group, and they're going to be in Hawaii, in the Disney Resort in Hawaii, doing the top 24. So going to be very exciting next week on American Idol. Alrighty. Now I'll move on to today's news and notes. Some stuff that I want to hit on. Tyrann Mathieu is visiting the Saints. I think he would be a good fit there. Yankees signed Greg Bird to a minor league deal. That's weird. Obviously he was their starting first baseman. One of the bigger busts in terms of prospects that the Yankees have had over the last decade plus. But I think they're probably just going to have him and see if he performs and if they could use him in a trade. MLB's anti-sign stealing tech, as pitchers and catchers will be allowed to use anti-sign stealing technology, PitchCom, during the regular season. Ethan Roberts makes the Cubs opening day roster. There's a video of David Ross breaking the news to him, and his reaction was priceless. White Sox signed Johnny Cueto to a minor league deal after Lance Lynn's injury. Nice little depth piece. We'll see if he turns back the clock a little bit. Tigers acquire Austin Meadows from the Rays last night, exchanged for shortstop Isaac Paredes and a comp balance B-round draft pick. Tigers don't have Riley Green to start the year. They need depth. So they go out and get Austin Meadows, who the Rays were shopping all winter and spring. I don't have an opinion change on the Rays after this trade. I still think the Rays are really good. They still have a lot of depth. Austin Meadows stunk last year, and they still won the AL East going away. Ochai Baji had a moment with his family after the game was over. One of Kansas's best players. Julio Rodriguez makes the Mariners after hitting .419 this spring. That's awesome. He's going to be in play for the Rookie of the Year. I'm so excited for this. An incredible stat for Connor McDavid. He has more points than any player taken since the 2010 draft. And he was drafted 5 years later. That's insane. That just shows how not so great those drafts were or how special Connor McDavid is. It's one or the other. I think it's a combination of both, but more so the latter than the former. Because there were some good players drafted between 2010 and 2014. The Cleveland Browns are eyeing Brandon Cooks in a trade, but a deal is unlikely to happen. A lot of people want Brandon Cooks in a trade because he's not a bad receiver. He's just stuck on a lousy team. The New York Yankees acquire David McKay in a trade for cash considerations. I just think that's for the 40-man. The Milwaukee Bucks assigned Luca Vildoza, who was the 2020 Spanish League Finals MVP, and will join the Bucks for the postseason and the 2022-23 season. So we'll see how much of an asset he is to them and whether he contributes. And then a big matter. The Red Sox placed Chris Sale on the 60-day injured list due to right rib stress fracture, and the Red Sox select Tyler Danish for the big league roster. So that is a tremendous loss for the Red Sox, and he'll be missed. And it's obviously going to be Nathan Eovaldi going on opening day. A big trade for the Saints and the Eagles. The Eagles sent 16-19 and a 6th-round pick to the Saints for a package around the 18th pick, a 2023 first, and a 2024 second. That's insane of a trade. Like, part of me thinks that New Orleans wants those picks to move up to take a quarterback. They must love one of these quarterbacks in this draft class. And the Eagles, on the flip side, are dead set on Jalen Hurts to be their quarterback this season. So the Eagles double up picks for next year's draft and now only have one pick in this year's draft. So we'll see how this goes. DK Metcalf denies trade rumors as he tweets that he hasn't heard anything about teams calling Seattle about him. Steve Nash confirms that Simmons is ruled out for the play-in tournament. I think he's done for the season. There's people out there saying he's done for the year. That's just unfortunate. I wouldn't risk bringing him back this year. I just roll the dice with next season with Ben Simmons if I'm Brooklyn. Sauce Gardner says he's the best player in this draft. You think so? He's certainly one of the best. I don't know if he's the best. That's a very bold statement by Sauce Gardner as the draft's this month. I'm going to do a mock maybe on Thursday's show. Maybe tomorrow. And non-sports news, Elon Musk to join Twitter's board after revealing 9% stake in the company. So, that's pretty interesting for sure for Elon Musk. All right, last but not least, my best bet of the day, brought to you by FanDuel. There's some numbers I really liked in the NBA and the NHL tonight for a best bet selection. I'm excited for Thursday for opening day, so baseball can be involved. So best bet was a winner yesterday with the under in the Carolina-Kansas game. But the pick for best bet, I am going to go with an NBA total that I thought was off. I'm going to go over in Wizards Timberwolves. I know they don't have Bradley Beal, Washington, but Minnesota has a ton of firepower offensively. I love over 237.5 between Minnesota and Washington. I have a 10-point edge on the over, so I'm going to go with that for best bet tonight. All right, so that's it for today's show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything in the NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball spring training look ahead to tomorrow. So no more college basketball on the podcast for a while in terms of games. So that's really sad. Tonight's going to be the big baseball predictions show, so looking forward to that. And obviously, News and Notes Best Bet, and tomorrow we'll do Masked Singer and Survivor. I hope you guys have a great day, everybody.